Coming up tonight on KSL Outdoors. There he is.
It's ice off on one of southern Utah's favorite fisheries.
Oh yeah! Look at that!
We'll show you where, how, and the big trout that are just waiting for you to come down and catch.
I'm Adam Eakle, and this is KSL Outdoors.
KSL Outdoors with Adam Eakle is brought to you by your local Ford stores.
Welcome to KSL Outdoors and welcome to spring. Holy cow, Mike Hadley with the Division of Wildlife Resources. We're on top of Panguitch Lake. It's freezing.
Yeah, it's March. This is pretty typical. We can get a snowstorm and go right back to winter.
But it's ice off. This is the time of year to get up here.
Yeah, there's some great fishing out here. Ice off is one of the best times to fish at Panguitch Lake.
And you were here just a couple days ago.
Yep.
And it's on.
It's on.
Doug McCleaves texted me and said, get down here, it's on. So let's go do it, huh?
That sounds great. Panguitch Lake is located in southern Utah, kind of halfway in between Panguitch and Cedar City. It's a little closer to Panguitch, on top of Cedar Mountain. It's a great natural lake. They added a dam to it around 1900 to make it a little bit bigger, and it's a real popular fishing destination in southern Utah.
So Mike, predominantly you've got cutthroat in here, you've got tiger trout, and you got rainbows, but the cutthroat and tiger's real predatory. So what are we gonna fish with today?
Okay, they really like to smell fish. So we're gonna use some chub meat today in a couple different ways. The first way we're gonna try is just on a large hook here. And we just got a piece of chub cut up here, about 1.5 inch square. And I'm just gonna hook that right on the hook. This has no weight on it, just the weight of the meat is gonna make it sink.
That's perfect for kids. I'm gonna start off with the swim bait. Should I tip this as well?
I would put a smaller piece of chub on that, but that also helps them grab it because they smell it, and that's what triggers them a lot of the time.
All right, and Doug, I think you went with Doug's got a black marabou jig.
Yep, that could work pretty well as well.
All right, let's go see what works.
If we hook something big, somebody ought to grab that net because it's hard to bring them in on these rocks without it.
Yeah, there you go. Cutthroat. Chased it all the way in. I cooked him right here, right on shore. I watched him come all the way in and eat it right at the shore. Just a big cut. Look at that. Nice, pretty, healthy fish. Right in the lip. Right in the slot. Probably a what, 17-inch fish? Get him back in the water.
So it's just like Strawberry and Schofield, 15 to 22 inches. The cutthroat and tigers need to be released. Rainbows aren't included in that slot, so people can keep any size of rainbows.
There he is. Again, right at the shore. They're following it all the way back, and this one's a little better, a little bigger.
I'm gonna come closer over to there.
Look at that pretty fish. Dark color. Just throwing a white swim bait, tipping it with a little chub. 2 casts, 2 fish. That's a beautiful fish.
This is a really important fishery, so we set nets here every spring just to keep an eye on the populations of fish in here and see how they're doing.
Oh, got one on it. Oh, he got off! Took my bait. Oh, that was 3 for 3.
We've seen rainbows in our nets up to about 5 pounds, cutthroat out to about 7, and tiger trout up to around 8-9 pounds.
There's a hit.
Oh, that's a good one. Let me get that down.
Oh, that's a good fish. Big cut.
But it's really productive. It has a lot of food between zooplankton, freshwater shrimp, just a lot of really good food sources. And then some of these bigger fish are probably eating a few small stock fish as well. It says cuts don't fight. When we've done creel surveys here before, we've estimated that, you know, more than half of the fishing pressure here throughout the year comes actually from non-residents, and a lot of those are from southern Nevada. But we get a lot of, it's really popular with locals as well.
Fish on.
There we go.
Is that a tiger?
Sure is. A lot of people in southern Utah say the first fish they ever caught was at Panguitch Lake.
What'd you get him on?
Black jig. Very good. Catch another one.
Another nice cutthroat here at Panguitch. The weather may be cold, but the fishing's pretty hot. Hey, we'll have more here coming up in a moment, but first, tonight's Burt Brothers quiz question.
The earliest known human use of Panguitch Lake was as a fishery by the Paiute Indians. Panguitch Lake and many of the small towns, rivers, and mountains of southern Utah were all named after Paiute words. Our Burt Brothers quiz question tonight is, what does Panguitch translate to from the Paiute language? The answer when KSL Outdoors, powered by Ford, returns for ice-off at Panguitch Lake.
KSL Outdoors is also brought to you by Fish Tech Outfitters, Utah State Parks, Burt Brothers, Sportsman's Warehouse, Evanston, Wyoming, and Camp Chef.
Welcome back to KSL Outdoors. Back here at Panguitch Lake, I'm Adam Eakle. Hey, in a moment, we go after all three species in this reservoir: tiger trout, cutthroat, and rainbows. But first, tonight's answer to our Burt Brothers quiz question.
And our question tonight is, what does Panguitch translate to from the Paiute language? And here's the answer. The name Panguitch is taken from the Paiute word for waters plenty with big fish. Other towns such as Parawan, Paraguna, and Kanab are also named after Paiute words.
Oh my gosh, that was a big fish. Dang it. That was a giant fish.
Yep.
Oh.
We'll send it over this way. I'll catch it. Panguitch Lake, the interesting thing is, we actually don't get a really long time where you have a big sheet of ice on the lake and open water around it. Typically what happens is a few days after we get to this point, we'll get a couple of windy days and it can blow off really quick and just completely open up. You know, the ice-off good fishing can last for, a month to a month and a half after that happens. And we'll come out all the way through April and even into May and fish from shore and catch these big cutthroat and tigers and even some big rainbows right from shore.
This is a big tiger. For me, this is a nice one. This has got to be a 4-pound fish. Look at that. And just attacked it. These fish are only cruising 20, 30 feet out from shore. Oh, look at that tank. Catching a tiger by the tail.
Panguitch Lake hasn't always been a productive trout fishery. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, Panguitch Lake was overpopulated with illegally introduced Utah chub.
And so in 2006, the whole lake was treated with rotenone to remove all the fish. At that time, they estimated the biomass of fish in the lake was 95% Utah chub. Since that time, we actually haven't seen any more chubs. They were actually really successful in killing all of them. And then on top of that, nobody's put any back in here illegally. So we've seen some really good growth on trout in here since that time.
Wow! Look at the shoulders on that thing. That's got to be, what do you think, Mike? 4 or 5 pounds?
Yep.
What a pretty fish. Hold him up. Boy. That will get some play on the DWR's website when people check that out. That's a 4.5 pound tiger trout here from Panguitch.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
he's got a really colorful one.
What do you got, rainbow?
It's a tiger. It's
Oh.
it's more colorful even.
Okay, we'll get this one and we'll be right there.
You might be able to get a picture of both of them.
Oh yeah! Look at that! Oh my gosh, that is a mess of tigers right there.
Pretty male there. We have a lot of other really great fisheries in this area, everything from
8 pounds of fish right there.
Navajo Lake, which is nearby here, that produces splake up to 10 pounds. We have Otter Creek Reservoir, which produces a lot of quality-sized rainbows. And then even closer to Panguitch Lake,
Look at those 2 fish.
we have a few other smaller lakes that produce some quality-sized fish. Yankee Meadow Reservoir, Paraguna Reservoir. And then if you go out west, we have Newcastle and Minersville, where we have nice rainbows and some big wipers as well. So there's a lot of great opportunities and a lot of variety in southern Utah.
Ready?
Don't fall in, Ethan.
Ah, nice one.
Good job, dude.
Oh boy.
Pretty rainbow, Doug. That looks like a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Nice and fat. Holy cow. There we go.
Oh, that's a tank.
There we go. Nice rainbow. Alright, we'll put it back in.
We'll be back to Panguitch Lake after the break, but first, George Summer with Fish Tech has a few tips on getting ready for ice-off at Strawberry.
Hey, George Summer here with Fish Tech Outfitters. Hey, and today we're talking about ice-off at Strawberry. Some of the key baits and things you can do to improve your fishing success when this happens. Today we've got things like swim baits, we've got tubes and grubs, jerk baits, minnow baits, best thing going, black marabou jigs, and for you guys that like to throw flies, we have streamers as well. The best thing to do is when the ice starts to pull back from the bank, then you're going to want to cast these lures to the edge of the ice and then work them back and let the fish dictate how fast you need to work them back. A lot of people say to throw it on the ice, which is great for us because you're going to be buying a lot more lures. But we'd like you to go and have a good time and keep the lures while you're fishing. So throw them up on the edge of the ice and then retrieve them back. So my best recommendation when the ice is pulling back is to use a black marabou jig. That's probably your best bet, easiest to fish. My second best choice would be a Lucky Craft pointer, like one of these that I have here. And use those. Be careful with these that you don't rip them too deep and get hung up, because again, you're probably going to be fishing from the bank, fishing out to the edge of the ice. For tips and techniques like these and many others, stop in and see us at Fish Tech Outfitters. And now for tonight's fishing line.
Hit him hard. Yeah!
Oh.
Try, buddy. Oh, Mike got one.
Nice. Almost had a double.
Welcome back to Panguitch Lake.
You know, the Paiutes, they depended on fishing here and in Fish Lake. They've done some archaeological digs around Lake Creek, which is what comes out of Fish Lake. And they find, fish hooks, made out of bone, piles of bones, things like that.
Yep, there he is.
Ice-off could be a great way to introduce kids to fishing. The fishing can be fast.
Look, Cuddy.
You don't need a boat. The fish are usually close to shore and are willing to hit almost anything. My son Ethan is rigged up with just a piece of sucker under a bobber. It's easy. He doesn't need to continually cast a lure, and he can just watch his indicator.
See, I'm slowly tightening the line a little bit. Okay, now he's got it in his mouth. Now come over here. Okay, don't wiggle that part now. You're just going to wait for him to hit it again. And then you're going to hit it as soon as he takes it again. He hasn't got it yet. Ice-off fishing's pretty fun. Why do you like it?
Well, I kicked myself because for 25, 30 years of fishing, I never did ice off until somebody told me about it finally. And for the last 4 years, I've been spoiled. And I hit all the lakes I can. This is the first time I've ever been to Panguitch Lake, but I will guarantee you I will be coming back to Panguitch Lake.
Hit it. There, you got him. Good job. Good job. That's a good one too. Okay, don't horse him in. Take your time. I think it's a tiger. It's a big one. A big tiger, dude.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Good job. Nice fish. What a slug. See how it's got tiger, like a tiger stripe on it? That is a sterile fish that they put in here just for guys like you to catch. Not very many places you can go and catch 20-inch cuts, 20-inch tigers, and 20-inch rainbows in Utah.
Right, it's pretty tough. I mean, you get the right conditions and the right situation and the right productivity in a lake. And it all works well here at Panguitch Lake. It's just a great fishery, and it's nice that we can produce all those in here.
Makes you guys look like heroes, huh, when you have big fish like that.
That's right, it makes my job easy when the fish just grow like that.
Ethan just had one on, Mike. Yeah, on your rod, just bait. Boy, a lot of fun to bring your kids out here and have a chance to catch beautiful fish like this cutthroat, get him experiencing a new reservoir. Look at that pretty fish. Let's get him back in the water and down the road in a different tale with tonight's Utah Field Guide.
Colorful flowers and warmer weather aren't the only sign that spring has sprung here in Utah. So are the mountain goats showing up at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon. Likely native to Utah in the past, the mountain goat was reintroduced into Utah in the late 1960s at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon. And because of relocation projects by the DWR, they can now be found on many ranges across the state. Mountain goats occupy the highest alpine environments in Utah. Even winter habitat can be as much as 11,000 feet. Mountain goats prefer extremely steep and rugged areas, making them one of the most agile rock climbers around. Seeing a mountain goat in the wild is one of the most exhilarating experiences you can have, and you're in luck. Next Saturday, the DWR is holding a free mountain goat viewing event in the Park and Ride lot at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information on the event, check out our Outdoors calendar page on the Outdoors section at ksltv.com.
Amazing day. It's been cold, the wind's been crazy, but it's beautiful right now as we got two big tigers in the net. Hey, let's find out how that recreation forecast is shaping up by turning it over to the guys and gals in the weather department. Welcome back to KSL Outdoors, back here at Panguitch Lake. I'm Adam Eakle. Don't forget, if you're looking for some ideas to get your family into the outdoors, check our Outdoors calendar page at ksltv.com. Also, if you have an event coming up and you're trying to get people out to your event, send us a note. We'll post it right there on our calendar page. Look at that, huh? Kids' first tiger trout, and it's a good one here at Panguitch Lake. What do you think, huh? Yeah, he's seen better. Hey, don't forget, when your kids catch a big fish, a big tiger like that, take a few pictures, submit it to our Snapshot contest. Now let's turn it over to you to see if you can beat Ethan's big tiger trout with the week's Snapshot of the week.
We kick it off with an ice-off Laker for Margie and her husband Bruce. As soon as the ice came off Flaming Gorge, the Parkers headed out. The bite was on that day as they boated 3 fish, including this 40-pound mac that Margie caught. Bruce and Margie took a quick picture with the fish, gave it a kiss, and released it back to the depths to fight another day. With the weather ripe for being outdoors, Mike decided to load up his 3 kids and go for a ride up Sunshine Canyon Road near the 5-mile pass in Tooele County. The kids were even brave enough to walk on a gated-off mine shaft to peer down deep into the darkness. Mike says they love this state and are proud to call it home. Bridger, his dad, and some friends decided to participate in the Homer, Alaska King Salmon Derby this past summer. In all, they spent 3 days on the ocean, with Bridger landing the most fish. This kid never misses a day of fishing, his dad says. Here he is giving the thumbs up as dad reels in a big fish. The group even spotted the famed fishing vessel Time Bandit from the show Deadliest Catch. Burley was out at Pioneer Park in Brigham City when he spotted a pair of Barrel's Golden Eye having supper. Burley watched as the ducks dove and caught their meal. These diver ducks eat aquatic invertebrates, fish eggs, small fish, vegetation, and yes, even crayfish. And finally, our winner tonight drew a tough limited entry hunt, but never gave up and came home with a dandy bull. 16-year-old Ashlyn Wilden drew out on a late-season elk hunt in southern Utah. The unit is known for being extremely tough to hunt, but this kid, well, she never gave up. On a cold and snowy 5th day, after most of their hunting party had gone back to work or school, Ashlyn and her dad spotted a shooter bull, and Ashlyn made a couple of great shots to put him down. Ashlyn comes from a family of hunters and says it was the best week of her young life. She wishes she could go back and relive the entire hunt. Well, Ash, here's our big prize to help you remember the hunt, as you just won our Snapshot of the Week. Remember, submit your pictures or video plus an explanation of your latest outdoor adventures online at ksltv.com. The winner each week wins a commemorative 100th Anniversary National Parks Cast Iron Dutch Oven and Skillet. And the winner is also entered into our Ford Trucks quarterly Facebook giveaway for a Camp Chef pellet grill.
It's always nice to have a warm meal at any outdoor adventure. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
Oh yeah! You know, I've been to Strawberry Ice-Off, guys, and I've caught some good fish, but this is worth the drive when you can catch tigers, rainbows, and big cutthroats.
Yep, we've got big fish in Panguitch Lake. It's worth the drive, and you got some solitude too.
Yeah, and ice off, you got other lakes around here that should be coming off soon too, or probably off by the time this airs, probably coming off.
Yeah, so in April we'll have Yankee Meadow is a good one nearby. It has some nice rainbows and brook trout in it. And then also in May, Navajo Lake, we've got big splake in there. That'll start coming off in there. And then May and June, Boulder Mountain will open up and gets really exciting then.
I'll say. Hey, that cut bait for me seemed to tipping your lure with bait sure seemed to help it. Heck, you didn't even need it.
No, I pretty much stuck with my little black marabou jigs, and I was able to catch all 3 species.
And the rugrat even caught one. Good time today. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for making the drive.
No, thank you.
Hey, I'm Adam Eakle, KSL Outdoors, reminding you to go out with your family, your friends, your rugrats. Make some memories like a southern Utah fishing trip outdoors. We'll see you next weekend. Good night.